I said, how are you doing today? How are you doing today? I am your host, Lacey G. Souldier Turner. And today, man, I got a very, very special guest with me. Two-time Grammy Award winning bass guitarist. He was a key architect of the Atlanta record sound of the 1960s and 70s. He's been doing this thing for a long time. Man, look, we got the wonderful, amazing, talented Jerry Jemmott. Welcome to the platform.
My pleasure, Lacey. Thanks for having me.
No problem, no problem. And you've been doing a lot of things. You know, I've been researching you and everything. I was like, you were very influential in a lot of things that we're going to talk about it today. So,
all right.
So my first question to you, where were you born and raised, and how was your upbringing as a child?
Oh, it was pretty, since I've written my memoirs, everything you've asked me is like right in front of my face. If you'd asked me this 5 years ago, I couldn't tell you nothing. But I was born in the Bronx.
Okay.
Bronx, New York. I had a very traumatic upbringing. I had a lot of childhood head injuries coming up. So my life was kind of disheveled, paranoid, insecure. A lot of things were going on that it wasn't a very pleasant childhood. But it was my life. I took it as being, my life, and I just dealt with it, as it came to me.
So let me ask you this: what got you into playing music and playing the bass and all of that?
Well, that's part of the story. After I think it was my eighth or ninth head injury, which came as a result of being hit by a car.
Wow.
They told me I went up 2 stories up and came down on my head. This is what they told me.
Wow.
And I came out I don't remember being in the hospital. They said I was there for a couple of weeks. And the music that I have been hearing prior to my last injury, was Miles Davis's Kind of Blue. No, not Kind of Blue. Round Midnight album. That came out, I think, in the 55, in the late 50s. And I heard that prior to the accident, and then after the accident, everything sounded different. Particularly the bass stood out. And for the first time in my life, I declared that I wanted to do something. Prior to that, all I wanted to do was sleep and eat. Lazy kid, I was just lazy, I didn't realize then that the head injuries had that kind of impact on a person's life. I didn't know that. And I just dealt with it. I didn't want to do shit, basically. Just sleep and eat. But when I heard that music after coming out the hospital, I said, I want to do that. And my mother and my sisters, they said, like, damn, he wants to do something finally. So
they were like, you need more head injuries now.
Right. So I'm waiting for my 10th birthday to come around, hoping I get a bass. Instead, I got a tape recorder. So I can record the music on the radio. So now I'm listening to this jazz now, heavy, now that I'm seeing, the record in my house, I want to find some more. So I'm listening to Mort Figa, Symphony Sid. Those are local jazz stations in New York during the 50s and early 60s and on. The WLIB, what's the other one? LIB was the black station. Hal Jackson, Frankie Crocker was on that station. He moved around a lot. But there were probably 3 or 4 prominent stations in New York that you could hear rhythm and blues and jazz. So I was tuned into that, and I was recording the stuff. So when I got my 11th birthday, I started junior high school, and I was able to get a bass then.
Okay.
And that started my musical journey. And I didn't know where it was going. I had no idea. I just wanted to do that. And I guess I did it pretty well because I became the principal bassist for the All Bronx Junior High School Orchestra. And then after that summer program, I went into the fall and we hung up with some of the musicians I met over the summer from different neighborhoods. And I was playing at the Boys Club on Freeman Street, and some older men heard me playing, and they asked me to join their band. I said, "Well, I'm only 12 years old. You got to ask my mother."
Gotta sign my permission slip.
So they drove me home. I rolled my bass to the Boys Club across town. They drove me home in the station wagon, took me upstairs, and I introduced to my mother, and my mother said, "You want to do this, Jerry?" I said, "Yeah." And that was the beginning of my professional career. Okay. In the fall of 1958.
So
I've been working since then.
So when you picked up the bass guitar, was it easy? Like, did it come to you naturally? Did you have to learn, or how was that?
Well, that was the upright bass. That was the classical bass. I had, I played that for 6 years. I went through junior high school. High school, I was working 3-4 nights a week. Every week, I worked in clubs, ballrooms. We go on the road and go up north to Mount Vernon. So in my mind, up north was like Mount Vernon. I'm getting in a car and driving north as opposed to working in the city. That's a big deal. To go up to New Rochelle on Thursday night when the sleeping girls were off, and so that's when they had a real big, talk about the juke joints down in the South. We had a similar thing happening up north because Jim Crow was going on everywhere in the country. So segregation was happening during that time. So we had our blackie clubs, and we would play with our people where they would come and see us play, and where they would party. So I remember that particularly. It's funny, you just brought that back to me. That part's not in my book. But
exclusive. No.
It's funny when I wrote the book. It's like a lot of things I can't say, I don't want to say, but I know I have an opportunity in a live interview, and things just come to me. The things that little things that happened that I forgot or didn't want to talk about. Now I can. It's funny when you, as part of writing something down about your life, it's a different experience than talking about it. Because you gotta be careful what you say when you're writing, because it's gonna be there.
Yeah.
But you can always say anything, and things come to me, out of the blue. So anyway, that's how I started. Okay. Then I switched to electric bass after playing a band I was playing, but they were into this jazz trip, looking at Miles Davis as being their icon. They wanted to be like Miles and turn their back on the audience. Forget what the audience wanted to hear. They would play what they wanted to play. I said, man, screw this shit. I'm gonna play with the band with the electric instruments. So I switched. At that point, I had a gig coming up in New Year's Eve in Bermuda. And with Gandy Burgess, trumpet player. And I swore when I took the gig that when I come back, I was going to get electric bass and an amplifier. So that was the January of 1964. And that began my electric journey. And that's what people know me from, playing the electric bass. I recorded with Nina Simone the next year, 1965. I worked my way up through the chain. And finally, I worked with Aretha Franklin, Aretha's sister. And who else? Big Maybelle, John Lee Hooker. Then finally, I got some dates with Wilson Pickett, Aretha Franklin, everything from that point on. And this blew up basically. Yeah. And it wasn't just Atlantic; it was all over. Yeah, every studio like RCA, Columbia, all the record labels that came to New York, that were in New York, they come to record because they had great musicians coming into New York. Mostly from all the jazz bands, the Count Basie's band, Duke Ellington's band, Monco Santa Maria's band, Woody Herman's band. We had guys playing from the Philharmonic Symphony. They'd hire musicians who were very astute, who could read well, and who could improvise. That was the criteria. And so I fit into that picture. And that became, it was a good thing for me.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that too. You done played with some of the most well-known soul and blues jazz singers and everything. So let me ask you this: how was it like playing with Nina Simone?
Oh man, the first time I worked with her, I mean, she was playing a song. You know how you young kid. I was like, like I was 18, 65, 19, and I thought she was singing to me. You know, and then she would hire me to do her side projects outside of the label work. So I had a long run with her doing not only her recordings but her side projects with her husband. Mm-hmm. So that was great. I mean, and she was like my hero from a kid. I mean, before I entered into music playing, I would hear her on the radio. My sister brought her records, so she was a big deal. I love Nina. She had it going on.
Okay. What about Aretha Franklin?
Oh, you go from one to the other. She after you hear Nina, then you hear Aretha. I'm hearing all these singers now. I'm hearing Billie Holiday. I'm hearing Colin McRae. So I'm in love with all of them. I'm loving the singers, Yeah. And I heard Aretha on Columbia. When she was on Columbia, I said, "Oh yeah, this bad." And next thing you know, she's making pop records with on Atlantic, and all her hits, they bam, 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 hit after hit after hit. And so when they called me to do her session, I was just called to actually observe the session because the producer, he had a feeling that they were going to have a problem with one of the songs that she had selected on her next recording. She had already had 7 hits. She had Respect. She had Do Right Man, I've Never Loved a Man, Dr. Feel Good, Seesaw, Chain of Fools, Since You've Been Gone, whole, number 1 hits. Yeah. And so the next session they were doing, the songs that she brought in, he felt that there's going to be a problem with one. And sure enough, there was. He was right. Because he was right. I was hired just to come to the session and observe the session. She said, "You might play, you might not play, but you're going to get paid for 2 sessions anyway." I said, "Cool. Okay." I bought my bass and had my buddy come down with me. Studio was packed full of people. Everybody from Atlantic Records was in and out the studio, in and out, trying to see the progress of the recording going on. This is like a big star and she's making a record. We have the opportunity to get a little sneak preview. So they go in and out the studio, and they're in the studio part as they're popping out of the control room, rather, where I was sitting waiting to, observing the session. And after 3 hours, they realized, let's take a break, go for lunch. At that point, Jerry Wilson said, "Jerry, go in there, see what you can do." And in 3 takes, we have recorded Think. That was a song they've been working on for all morning long. I mean, everybody was in the studio. I mean, the Sweet Inspirations. I mean, everybody's family was just packed. The executives in and out. And so after that, I got her to leave. And Tommy Cosbill, the bass player from there, who recorded all her original previous records with them, he said, "Oh, no, baby, you stay here. You stay right here. You ain't going no place." And he had already switched over to playing guitar for Think. And so I finished that day and the rest of the week out. And then the next couple of years, I worked with her in the studio. And they started sending me around to different Down the Muscle shows to record with Dwayne Allman and Wilson Pickett. And that was a good run with Atlantic. That was a good run. And as far as Aretha goes, I mean, she was beautiful to work with. I would try to, get her to record some of my music, but I never could get through to the line to get a song to her. I write songs with her in my head, like everybody else did.
They had you blocked off.
Yeah, had me blocked off, but no problem. She called me 43 years after that. In fact, the last time after the sessions, King Curtis called me to do the Fillmore with her. And at that point, I was really entrenched in doing studio work for everybody. And I wasn't leaving New York for nothing. Yeah, and he knew that, But he said, we got something going, come on, we got to do this. What we got going on, between me and him, we had a certain, chemistry between people, like with Aretha, with King Curtis, with Wilson Pickett. We get that, once you can supply an artist with what they need, you have a bond develops. Yeah. So we had this bond going. So realized it was important to him that they do this big record out in the Fillmore. And we're going to bring the white culture into the black culture, the hippie children, the flower crowds from the West Coast. And I was familiar with the beatniks on the East Coast, so I knew I was getting into. And they wanted to do this tour going out to California and recording this record. Okay. That was the whole idea, to make this record. You know, he knows that's, you know, that would be the thing, the carrot that might bring me out. So, and all of the record was going to be Billy Preston, Aretha, Cornell Dupree, Bernard Purdy, myself, the Memphis Horns, who I played with at Muscle Shows. You know, these cats, they were killer horn players. So I said, okay, I'll go for it. So I took the job for 6 months. I said, after 6 months, I'm going back to being in the studio. So I took the job for 6 months, basically, from February to August of 71.
Okay.
That was, you know, that was it. I was out of it. After that, I was out. You know,
So look, let me ask you this, Mr. Jerry, because, you know, I heard you played on one of my favorite songs, B.B. King, The Thrill Is Gone. So
yeah.
How was it? How was that?
Man, it's funny, man. I tell you, Lacey, it's funny how musicians have common threads. Like I heard an interview with Bootsy just the other day, and somebody asked him the same question: how was it like playing with James Brown? You know, well, I have the same story he had. He played with a guy named Bushi or somebody. So when he saw James, who was a James Brown imitator, okay? So when he saw James Brown, he said, "Oh, this is just like so and so and so and so." So he was cool, you know, doing the thing. So when I met B.B. King in 1969, as soon as he opened his mouth, I said, "Oh shit, he sounds just like Ray." I'm talking about a Ray Shinnery, a Jamaican cat from Jamaica, who spoke with a really heavy Jamaican brogue. I mean, you could hear Jamaica all coming out his eyeballs. But when he sang, he sounded just like B.B. King. And me and the guys in the band who accompanied him, who happened to be the great Leo Morris, or who changed his name to Idris Muhammad, and the great Charles Honeyboy Otis. These are new drummers from New Orleans. I mean, these cats were playing with I'm having a mental fog here, but the great New Orleans Alan Toussaint and his predecessor, Professor Longhair. I mean, these are great new Fats Domino. I mean, these are great musicians from Louisiana, where the Bayou, the gumbo, all this music from all different cultures comes together. They're playing Latin music, African music, jazz, you name it. This is what's happening. So these cats are some of the best drummers in the world. So they validated what I was doing basically when I was playing with Ray Shinnery. We would all get together and we mess up Ray's music, BB's music that Ray was playing, and funk it up. You know, and Ray was cool with it. So when BB started singing, I say, he sounds just like Ray. I know what to do. I'm going to funk it up. So this is what happened when I first session in 1960, in the summer of 69, we did Why I Sing the Blues. And I took his traditional shuffle rhythm, ba ba da da 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 ba, and change it to ba 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 da 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 da. You know, so he was able to sing on top of that. It was cool, and it made a nice combination. Big hit. Why I Sing the Blues. So we called us in 3 months later to record another album, which is where your favorite song comes from. The Thrill Is Gone.
The Thrill Is Gone.
Yes. He did it. He killed it.
That's crazy. So look, let me ask you one more person. How was it like working with Ray Charles?
Ray Charles was brief, and that was one of the bonuses of working with Aretha at the Fillmore. He wasn't scheduled to come on the show. He just she went and got him out the audience. She heard he was there. And who else was there? Danny Glover was there. A lot of people at that show. It was a big deal. And he was great. I mean, just being able to not only work with him, but like create with him. He comes on stage. He didn't know the song. We had to make up a song right on the spot. You know, so I had not only I'm playing with him, I'm creating with him, which is what you're doing anyway. But it was such a have it recorded like that. And if you go back and listen to it, you say, yeah, it was when we were messing around and with vamping here and trying to make Ray comfortable. And come on, Ray, sing the song,
Making up stuff on the spot.
Exactly. That's why, hip hop is so cool because it comes from the elements of playing, the jazz, the rhythm and blues, all these elements of music that cats have been able to, I should say, glean from what they've been hearing. It's a great, spoken word has always been beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. And I had a lot of experience playing. I mean, I encountered hip hop playing at the Fort Apache in the Bronx in the late 50s, early 60s. The cats they were breakdancing back then in the detention center that I would go to play for. The union would send us go to hospitals, prisons, you name it. We would go and play for people. So I encountered that then.
Okay, Mr. Jerry. So let me ask you this. Can you tell the people about the famed story about Mona?
About Mona? Yes. My bass Mona?
Yes.
Oh, man, that's... Mona is this...
What happened? How did you get Mona? Tell everybody that story up in this
one. Mona came because my bass I had recorded with Aretha and a lot of other people, the Rascals, I guess. Yeah. I was working at A&R, and I had 2 sessions, a 10 to 1 and a 2 to 5. And after the 10 to 1, I went to lunch with the engineer and left my bass in the control room. I come back for my 2 to 5 session, and the bass is gone. So they had to rent me a bass from Carol Music, and they couldn't get the bass. They couldn't get a jazz bass. They got a P bass. And after the session, the engineer said, "Man, you got the same sound out of this P bass as you got out of the jazz bass, out of your bass." I said, "Really?" He says, "Well, it's not. It's really about the hands that make the sound." So I eventually got Mona, went to another pawn shop, and got another jazz bass at the pawn shop. I've had Mona.
Look at Mona. She looks so pretty.
Since 1969.
Wow.
Actually 1968, before 69. After she was stolen, I got her later 68, late 68. But I started using the BB King records came out in 69. But I got her, she was stolen in 68. And ironically, somebody called me 3 weeks ago and told me they had the bass that was stolen.
Many years later.
Yeah. He showed me where I had written my name on it, on the back where the neck meets the body, on the inside that you can't see. When you take it apart, you can see it. I recognize my handwriting. I'm just like, damn, man. Well, who'd you sell it to? He didn't know. He sells a lot of basses. People do that. They get instruments and they sell them, buy them and sell them.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, man, that's crazy. So, Jerry, let me ask you this. Okay, so you got a book, Make It Happen, The Life and Times of the Groove Master. Can you tell the people about that book and where can they get it?
Well, they can get it on Amazon exclusively. I wrote this, took me 2 years to write it and 5 years to find a publisher. I couldn't find a publisher, so I had to do it myself. The book really chronicles a lot of things I expressed to you right now in this interview. In detail, it goes on to details some of the accidents I had basically, and what I went through after the accidents, my conversion into true Buddhism. It talks about my lifting myself up from drug addiction that I encountered after in the 80s. I got caught up in that. It took me a long time to get out of it, and it chronicles me getting out of it and coming to where I am now, where I started working again professionally on the road. I met my wife working on the road. We've been together now 16 years, and it's been good. I've been working. I still record fact, I'm getting ready to. I record all. I have both of my shoulders replaced doing the.
Oh man.
after after I wrote the book, I decided I'm going to get ready to go to work. So I had both of my shoulders replaced because I had been injured over the years from another car accident.
Look at you, Jerry. You just have a head injury.
I head injuries, man. I'm an accident waiting to happen sometimes. I swear, it's been that kind of life. That's my karma. I mean, I probably came here. I tell you in the book, I put my sperm was probably riding in a wheelchair.
That is crazy.
So it's like it's karma, baby. What we come and what we have to work with is what we have. We have what we have, and you have to deal with your hand as dealt you.
Yes. So look, man, yeah, get the book. It's on Amazon exclusive. So speaking of books, you got a master class and a book signing event coming up in Southern Cal. Can you tell the people about that?
Oh yes, since I wrote the book, I have a partner as a nonprofit also called the Bass Shed, and we've been presenting workshops and book signing events in Southern California and presenting master classes. So we have one coming up December 16th at an Amstel and stuff in Northern California. I don't know. You're where are you? What time zone are you in?
I'm in St. Louis.
You're in St. Louis. Well, you're a long ways, but it's going to be online. So I'll send you. I'll drop you a flyer.
Okay.
And maybe you can disseminate it at some point. It's going to be December 16th, and they can catch it online.
That's the day after my birthday too. My birthday.
All right. The 15th, huh? Cool.
Yep. Sagittarius. Go ahead.
All right. You a Sag?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Cornell Dupree.
That's right. But go ahead.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, that's I'm a lot of Sages, man. You're some heavy people, man. I can tell you some stories about y'all.
Yeah.
The Sages I've known.
Look, we ain't gonna talk about that.
No, we're gonna leave that alone. We're gonna pull up the curtain, but so far.
Yeah, just a little bit, peek inside.
Turn to the side.
But Jerry, how can people become a part of this book sign? How can they attend and everything?
Well, they could. It's gonna be online. I'll send you.
Okay.
I'll send you something.
Okay.
But meanwhile, my other project I'm working on, which has been ongoing, which they might be hopefully of interest to people. It's a color sound music program which I developed with the help of Herb Lavelle. He was the drummer on that Big Thriller's Going. He was the drummer. He was also the drummer on Bob Dylan's records. He predated my time in the studio by about 10 years. So he was already there when I got there. And we became partners. And he came up with this idea of making learning music using colors as opposed to just notes. Instead of saying, C sharp, D flat, and B flat, and A sharp, and all this stuff, what works with this and works with that, and blah, blah. How do you put this together? He said, how about using colors instead? Because I was using a system using just numbers. He saw my book called There's Music in Everyone. I've written a book about, music instruction. And he looked through that book and he said, "How can you make this a color sound teaching method?" I said, "Well, I guess so. Why not?
Yeah, I guess I can.
He reminded me how we quote with Laura Nero. She was a writer for the Fifth Dimension. Wrote all their songs, a lot of their songs. Great writer, and she would tell us in the studio, "Can you put a little brown on this, a little pink on this? Can you just color it a little, do something with it?" And we do a little something. And she said, "Yeah, that's it." And so he reminded me of that, which was like in 1970. Here it is, 1999. He's telling me a story. Damn near 30 years old. I'm saying, okay, yeah, let's go for it. Why not? We've done everything else. Okay,
I'll do it. Let's go for it.
So we did it basically, and now you can find it on your phone. You can go to your phone. If you go to our website, Solar Energy, SOULER.org. It'll come up.
Okay.
Color Sound Music came. It's called Jamboree.
Okay.
Now everybody's phone. I tried to go onto somebody's phone the other night at a Buddhist meeting. A little girl. She was a 4-year-old. She was bored. I said, I got something for you. So, you know, I pull out my phone and he's hitting the I'll take it to you right now. I'll take it to you right there. She's hitting the links. And I tried to go to her mother's phone, and his mother's phone, it wouldn't come up. Anything came up was SOLAR, not SOULER. No matter what, I could not get SOULER. It blew my mind. I thought it was, if you put it in, it would come right up. She was supposed to get this.
She ain't get that.
I don't know if you can see it. The camera's picking up. Oh
Yep,
yeah,
yep,
okay.
there you go. Yep.
The color, it's a wheel with colors. If you touch the wheel, a sound will emit. You'll hear the sound of the color of blue, the sound of pink, the sound of orange, gold. There are 12 colors.
Gotcha.
And all the 12 colors match the 12 notes that we have to play in music. It's only 12. Yeah. That's it. Those 12 tones. That's it. And we mix them up, mess them up, turn them around, play them backwards, upside down. That's what we make music, how we make music.
Gotcha.
So now we can do it just using colors.
Jerry, let me ask you this, Jerry. Have you ever met, this is my favorite group in the universe. Have you ever met the Temptations?
Oh, that's in my book too.
I gotta get the book. I got to get the book.
The Temptations, everybody's favorite group.
Yeah.
I mean, I could do the Temptation walk. I did do the steps. I do the songs. I played in the band that backed up the New York Temptations.
They just split off in so many different Temptations.
Okay.
Outside children and another one.
You got it.
That ain't right. So wait, Jerry. Let me ask you.
I'll let you read the story in the book.
Yeah, I'm gonna read the book. Well, let me ask you this though. So on your journey, you've been through a lot of stuff. What would you say has been your greatest challenge?
Greatest test?
Challenge. Yep, your greatest test challenge.
Greatest challenge. Ooh. See, I don't. Just being secure. Believing in myself. Knowing I had something that, as I found out that nobody else had, or heard something the way nobody else heard. Being secure with it. That was the challenge. And it's making it better. Even to this day, I constantly strive at excuse me. Self-improvement. It's been that challenge, my entire life. If you read my book from the beginning to see the trouble I had as a child, I knew I was in trouble.
From the beginning.
From the beginning. So it's been my whole life has been a challenge, And it's like, I'll sleep when I die. Basically, that's the attitude I've taken, basically. I just got to keep moving. Plus, I've learned to rest, having my shoulders replaced, where I couldn't do nothing for 5 years, basically. I just learned how to button my shirt comfortably about 2 weeks ago without thinking about it. Starting all over, it's part of my journey. And a lot of people we have to pick ourselves up, and no matter what mishaps we go through, our lives take us, we have to learn how to, reset, come back again. And I found out, I went, before I got into Buddhism, I was into numerology, astrology, Kundalini yoga, existentialism. I went through all these different practices once I left the church. And when King Curtis died, the day after King Curtis died, was murdered, whatever you want to call it, he shows up at my house the very next morning, hovering above my kitchen cabinets.
Wow.
And at that point, I got religion. Okay, and that's why I was looking for stuff at that particular point. Gotcha. That's when I started looking for yoga, Kundalini yoga, astrology, numerology, existentialism. All these things were coming my way, and finally, I got hit by I got another car accident. Totally out of it then.
Three of these cars.
You know, I'm looking for. I know something's out there after King Curtis died. He comes to my house, so now I'm on the way of looking. I'm grieving his death because only like 18 months after he died, I had the accident. So I'm still thinking about him. And Richard Davis suggested I chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, and that basically turned my life around.
Nam Myoho
Renge Kyo.
I said, we learned that from What's Love Got to Do with It.
Yes, that's right, Tina Turner.
That's
right, baby Tina. Bless her soul.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Jerry. What would you say has been your greatest accomplishment?
My greatest accomplishment? Just being a survivor to be able to talk to you today.
There you go. There you go. Especially after them accidents. Especially after them accidents.
You better believe it, man. I'm going to see Les McCann in about 4 hours. He's up in the rehab facility, and he's got a new electric wheelchair. He's been in the bed for the last 5-6 years. And he's one of my heroes from, Les McCann, compared to what all the things he wrote before that, the civil rights movement. He was like a big hero of the people. So I'm going to take some families to see him. We're going to play some music for him at the facility where he is. We've done that before. So it's I'm glad to be alive and do things like that and do basically, whatever comes my way. When the phone rings, I answer, I pick it up. I don't go out and look for work. I depend upon the phone to ring to come for me to get work. And it comes here and there. At this age, I've been playing now professionally for 65 years. And so I know, there's always something to learn. And believe me, I knew a long time ago.
Your phone's still ringing.
The phone's still ringing. I got a gig. I got a gig next month, and I got a couple of gigs next year. I got a gig for the next 3 years in Switzerland. I go once a year. I go out there and play. But it's good. I'm looking to get my color sound thing going. Get other people involved in music, because a musically inspired mind is such a great thing to have. People think differently. They're able to process things differently with a different understanding, a sense of compassion, sense of purpose. So it develops a lot of different pathways to other fields. You don't have to stay and become a professional musician. But it's a hobby. But to be able to have those tools, to be able to communicate that way, and have your brain cross-referencing different ideas. The color sound thing is going to be wonderful for people who have dementia. You hear people go back and hear a song that brings them back. All of a sudden, they start singing where they can't speak. All of a sudden, you play a song for them, and they'll start singing the song from 50 years ago. And they haven't spoken to anybody in 30 years, maybe. That's what music does. So the idea of putting the colors with the music, the combination, has to be of meaningful value to somebody out there. So I'm making it available, so it's available,
So Mr. Jerry, let me ask you this. What advice would you give anyone, the youth who wants to, pick up an instrument and join like some of these bands, blues, jazz, whatever, if they want to get into this music? What advice would you give them?
Oh, let's go for it. Let's, give it a shot. Find out what instrument you learn to play. Learn music. Learn how to. The greater the understanding of the music is, the easier it is, the less stress you have. Some people, the music just drops out of them without even thinking about it. They don't have to read nothing. They just know it from a past life. You see these kids come here, play, miraculous talents. They didn't just pop up here just all of a sudden. They had a past experience. Sometimes some do, some don't. But hey, if you feel it, go for it. Find out what melts your butter.
Okay.
Take it from there.
Gotcha. So, Mr. Jerry, if anybody want to book you or anything, how can they get in contact with you?
Go to my website, jerryjemmott.com. As long as you can spell my name right, you got it.
As long as you can spell my name right, you got it. All right, y'all heard it.
In fact, there's books up there. There's free books up there if they want to learn music, to learn how music works and understand music, my nonprofit organization, Solar Energy, has donated my ebooks that I've written over the years. You can get them for free. If you go to the events calendar on my website, you click on the link, you can get the book, There's Music in Everyone and The Bass in You. Those 2 books.
Okay.
So they can enter that way. Some knowledge. It helps.
I heard it. Knowledge. Knowledge is key. Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. But don't forget, knowledge is useless if you can't use it.
That also. Right. Drop them Jews, Jerry. Drop them Jews. All right, Mr. Jerry. So my last question that I love to ask all my guests: when it is all said and done, and you are long gone from this earth, what is it that you want the people to know about Jerry Jemmott?
Nam Myoho Renge Kyo.
Bars. There you go. Simple and to the point.
What can I tell you? The law of cause and effect is everything. We're here because of the law, the mystic law of cause and effect. You know, cause and effect makes things happen. I'm here because of that. And I'm here speaking to you because of that. It's brought me up from where I had nothing to give me a reason to live, you know. So it's pick it up, have a reason to live, support your life, your journey.
Well, thank you, Mr. Jerry Jemmott. I appreciate you, man. I had a great time with you. I had some great laughs.
Not as good as me.
Well, look, I'm gonna definitely stay in touch with you. I'm gonna write an article about you too. So I'm gonna let you know when this interview drop and the article drop.
Please do. We'll stay in touch, man.
All right, definitely. You got my number, I got yours. So I'm gonna like
for sure.
All right, have a good day.
All right, baby. Peace.
Peace out.